The impact is tremendous today from Lost in Space.
I think it's because of the innocence of the show.
It's the nostalgia part of it.
Mommy and Daddy, who watched it 30 years ago, had children.
The baby boomers today, when they think back 20, 30 years ago, when they were 6, 8 years old, those were good years for them. The home, the family, the mother, the pies, all that kind of stuff, you know, good things happening.
No.
I think that Vegetable Rebellion is probably the worst show I've ever seen.
I just remember a big carrot.
The epitome of bad TV.
Sir?
Ah, there you are, young seedling. You've come to make some sort of sentimental appeal, am I correct?
Oh, I'll never get over it. The whole thing was, talk about let's go out in the back and play space. I mean, it was like being in kindergarten.
June and Guy and Mark didn't even pretend. I mean, they couldn't do it without laughing.
Tell me something, Tybo. Why do you want to turn me into a teakwood tree?
Would be one of my better achievements.
I went to the director, I said, I think I'm a pretty good actor, but how do you talk to a carrot, you know? And he said, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. Just same way you would a piece of celery.
Moisture! Moisture! I need moisture!
Goddard in the Sci-Fi Channel's Lost in Space Marathon continues next.
I'm Mark Goddard from Lost in Space, and you're watching the Lost in Space Marathon here on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Sigourney Weaver.
The Vegetable Rebellion was written by our best writer, Peter Packer, who was a brilliant, imaginative, creative, fertile brain, which went into crazy, wonderful directions. And he wrote The Great Vegetable Rebellion. He brought it to my dressing room, I remember, and wouldn't give it to me. He kept doing, I said, Peter, give me that script. He said, you're going to be sorry. And I said, why? He said, it's total trash. I said, then why did you write it? He said, I don't have another idea in my head. That's television. It eats up the material.
To the Queen.
I never thought about the fashion world when I was doing Lost in Space.
I do know that the fashion of the day influenced the fashion that we wore.
I loved the first season on Planet costume. It was just a very simple navy blue kind of velour and ski pants with black boots.
I hated my hair. I mean, they had it piled up to here. I mean, it looked like I had two heads.
The second was that tunic-y one.
The second one was kind of orange with the little yellow turtle dicky thing. I didn't like that as much. I don't look good in orange.
And then I wore these funny-looking culottes and a wool sweater.
I liked the third outfit because it was loose and it was collared.
The next year I liked, and the last year I liked.
The third season was purple and yellow, and I kind of liked that one.
Mine was orange in the last year, the little mini skirt.
If memory serves, I don't believe there was a zipper in the pants, which made it a little tricky.
Call 1-800-87.
The most memorable one, without a doubt, is the one called The Vegetable Rebellion.
Well, I'm glad one of you animals appreciates us. Go on.
Totally preposterous situation, which made us all laugh so much during the shooting that Guy Williams and I were out of the next 2 episodes for laughing, which we thought was terribly funny because we were written out at full salary. The greatest acting challenge in the show, of course, was pretending that you could really see some great special effect coming at you, and all of us clutching each other and saying, look out, here it comes again. And of course, we were looking at nothing. Really, one of the funniest things about working in space, the actors hanging over the boards and looking out the window and saying, oh, gosh, did you ever see anything like that? And they're looking simply at the prop men standing out there waiting to break for lunch, you know?
The speed of life.
I'm Marta Kristen from Lost in Space, and you're watching the Lost in Space Marathon here on the Sci-Fi Channel.
The Sci-Fi Channel and New Line Cinema present the Lost in Space Classic, a 30th anniversary commemorative lithograph with a special price of just $95 plus shipping and handling. Call now, toll-free, 1-800-490-9690.
That's 1-800-311.
Channel's Lost in Space Marathon continues next.
I'm Bill Mumy from Lost in Space, and you're watching the Lost in Space Marathon here on the Sci-Fi Channel.
Will, you must...
This is a small model of the outfit that I wore every day. It was around 6 foot to 6'5", something in that vicinity. In the full outfit, it weighed 350 pounds. The bottom section we called the legs. I would get into that first by stepping on here and then stepping into it. Then they would put the bodice on me. Then they would attach the top. I looked out. The bubble was the head. That's why Jonathan Harris called it bubble-headed booby.
Working with the children on the set, as they were at that time, was marvelous.
I had a lot of work to do. You know, Will Robinson had a pretty heavy workload.
When you're a kid, you need to, you know, fulfill your school requirements. So you have to go to school for 3 hours every day.
The hardest part was going into rehearse like a 2 or 3 page scene where you've got a lot of dialogue and remembering your marks and all that stuff. And then as soon as they start lighting it, being rushed off to a trailer to forget about it and go to school.
And it's intense studying at that time. I mean, you go in and you have to get right to work. And then you're pulled out and all of a sudden you're on some planet, you know, facing some alien.
The CBS did a survey.
I don't know what a vagrant impulse means.
And they went to the schools. The surveyor asked, who watched Lost in Space? And all the hands went up. The surveyor said, what did Dr. Smith say that you didn't understand?
What is cosmonium, the quintessence of?
Well, the teacher made us go to the dictionary and find out what they meant.
Mighty pretty words, that boy.
That just charmed my bones and my heart.
Excellent.
I loved Debbie, but I was terrified of her. She's a wild animal.
Oh, he's darling. May I have it?
Looks like you found yourself a home.
Was a chimpanzee with a really uncomfortable hat on.
She didn't like girls. She bit Angela twice. Really, that was very serious, but she never gave me any trouble.
Hey, come on back!
And Louis the trainer told me, you can train a wild animal, but never tame one. Debbie, by the way, came back for the 2nd year, de-toothed.
Watch the Sci-Fi Channel's Lost in Space Marathon. Sci-Fi Channel next.
I was hired to play a deep-dyed, snarling villain who bored me to death.
No, don't wake them. Why not? It's their lives, too, and since I'm the only one who can pilot this ship.
Also, there's no longevity in a part like that because I realized that in, 5 episodes, they'd have to kill me off. So I created from the ground up the Smith that we have all come to know and love.
Doomed to Devil's Island. Oh, dear, the pain, the pain.
I developed that whole thing with the robot, which was the best thing that ever happened to me. Whoever had a robot is a straight man.
You bubble-headed booby, do you realize what you've done?
And I decided he was also my alter ego.
I was on the point of landing on the Isle of Capri. Now I'll never get there.
Sorry, Dr. Smith, but only a dream.
Only a dream indeed, my dear boy.
I think of all the myriad parts that I've played, he's my great favorite.
I'm trying, but it's so hard not to.
I was under some kind of a spell, and this music kind of made me dance.
Penny, this is all wrong. It's crazy.
I would just go off and start dancing, this kind of psychedelic dance.
Hey, man, you really grew.
Yeah, and we gotta persuade William to groove with us.
The two of us just kind of got swept away with that beat.